Here's a question that should keep every coach up at night. What if you're not losing clients because of your coaching? What if you're losing them before they ever experience it? The data is brutal. Most coaching practices lose up to 70% of their potential revenue before the first session even begins. Not because their methods don't work, not because their marketing is bad, but because of invisible cracks in their pipeline. Let's break down exactly where those cracks are. Let's zoom out for a second. The coaching industry is booming. We're talking a $6.25 billion global market, over 145,000 active practitioners, and average hourly rates climbing past $256. That's the macro reality. But here's the micro reality that nobody talks about. Independent coaches are losing 60 to 70% of their inbound leads before conducting a single session. The primary growth bottleneck is no longer lead generation, it's lead retention. You don't have a traffic problem, you have a leaky pipe. So where exactly are the leaks? Your client pipeline has 5 critical stages, and friction at any one of them quietly kills your marketing ROI. Stage 1. The inquiry and response gap. Stage 2. Booking the discovery call. Stage 3. The waiting period before the call. Stage 4. The conversion call itself. And Stage 5. Client onboarding. Each stage has its own failure mode, its own data, and its own fix. Let's walk through them one by one. Stage 1 is the silent killer, and the data here is staggering. If you respond to a lead within 5 minutes, you are 100 times more likely to qualify them, 21 times more likely to convert them. But here's the problem. 63% of businesses never respond at all, and 78% of customers buy from whichever business responds first. Not the best one, the fastest one. Look at that decay curve. By 30 minutes, you're already 21 times less likely to qualify the lead. By 24 hours, you're 60 times less likely. And the average B2B response time? 42 hours. At that point, the lead is effectively dead. This is the single biggest leak in most coaching practices, and it's completely fixable with a simple automated response. Stage 2 is the discovery call drop-off. Average conversion from inquiry to booked call sits at just 10 to 30%. And a huge chunk of that loss comes from friction, not disinterest. On the left, you see the manual path. The when are you free email ping pong. Every round trip adds hours or days. Intent fizzles out. The prospect finds someone easier to book with. On the right, the automated path. One-click self-scheduling with a short intake form, no back and forth, no friction. The prospect books while they're still motivated. This single change can double your booking rate overnight. Stage 3 is the no-show drain. The service industry average no-show rate runs between 10 and 30%. That means for every 10 discovery calls you book, up to 3 people just don't show up. Each missed call costs you an hour of protected time and burns a warm lead who may never rebook. But here's the good news. A simple automated SMS sequence, just 2 messages at 24 hours and 1 hour before the call, recovers 38% of those lost meetings. That's not a marginal improvement. That's a third of your no-shows converted back into real conversations, permanently, with zero manual effort. Stage 4 is the conversion call itself. And here's what most coaches get wrong. They focus all their energy on the sales conversation, the pitch, the objection handling, the close. But conversion rates live between 10 and 30%, and the real driver isn't what happens on the call, it's what happened before the call. Think of it like an iceberg. The discovery call is just the tip. Below the surface, it's the upstream pipeline doing the heavy lifting. Responding within 1 hour gives you 7x higher qualification odds. Frictionless booking signals high professionalism. Consistent reminders establish boundaries and respect. If your conversion rate is under 20%, don't blame your sales skills. Audit your upstream pipeline. Prospects arriving through automated systems arrive warm, valued, and ready to buy. Stage 5 is the one that catches people off guard. You close the deal, the client said yes, but you're not done. Up to 67% of churn happens in the danger zone between the verbal yes and the first session. 50% of new clients drop off within the first 90 days if onboarding is messy, and 74% of people will abandon a business entirely after a difficult onboarding experience. A signed client expects digital contracts, payment links, and intake sync within minutes. Not days, not next week, minutes. The gap between signing and starting is where trust either solidifies or erodes. Now let's talk about the revenue math, because this is where it gets real. Take 20 initial inquiries per month. Same marketing spend, same coaching offer. On the left, the manual process. You respond to 37% of leads, that's 7.4. 70% show up, that's about 5. You convert 25%, and you land 1.3 new clients. On the right, the automated process. 100% responded to within 5 minutes. That's all 20 leads engaged. 85% show up thanks to SMS reminders. That's 17 calls. You convert 40% because leads arrive warm. Result? 6.8 new clients. That's a 5x multiplier on the exact same marketing input. No extra ad spend, no new offers, just sealing the pipeline leaks. Here's the friction versus flow matrix, a side-by-side comparison at every stage. At inquiry, you go from a 42-hour average response to an instant 60-second trigger. That alone is a 100x qualification boost. At booking, email back and forth becomes one-click self-scheduling, eliminating booking drop-off entirely. At reminders, manual tracking and hoping becomes automated 24-hour and 1-hour SMS sequences, recovering 38% of no-shows. And at onboarding, delayed PDF contracts become instant payment and intake sync, preventing 67% of early churn. Every row in this table represents recoverable revenue, not theoretical, real money that's currently leaking out of your practice. So, what does the full automation ecosystem look like? At the center sits a CRM, your single source of truth for every lead, every client, every interaction. Connected to it are 4 systems. Smart scheduling for self-serve calendar routing. Conversational SMS for automated reminders and instant lead engagement. Payment gateways for zero-friction invoicing and recurring billing. And automated onboarding for triggered welcome sequences and document delivery. Together, this ecosystem removes 25 to 35 hours of administrative busywork per week. It replaces chaotic human memory with flawless digital execution. You don't need to be available 24/7. You need systems that are. And here's the long-term economic lever that most people miss. Acquiring a new client costs 5 times more than retaining an existing one. So every client you lose to pipeline friction isn't just lost revenue, it's wasted acquisition cost. Bain & Company found that a mere 5% increase in retention directly yields a 25 to 95% increase in total profitability. An automated pipeline doesn't just catch new leads, it creates a predictable, professional client experience that drives renewals and increases lifetime value. This is how coaching practices scale without constantly chasing new leads. Let me leave you with this. Automation does not replace the coach. It protects the coaching. By delegating scheduling, follow-ups, and onboarding to a flawless digital ecosystem, you reclaim the energy needed to do what you actually do best: transform lives. Seal the pipeline. Scale the impact. If you're a coach losing leads to operational gaps, the fix isn't more marketing, it's better infrastructure. Thanks for watching.